Hello, today is December 8th, 2020. What a wild year it's been. Glad we've made it this far, but let me tell you, what a weekend it's been. There's still a lot that I haven't talked about in yesterday's episode. Glad I'm going to get to talk about it today. Again, you're listening to The Jared Barnes Show. I'm your host, Jared Barnes. Again, I want to say thank you for choosing to listen to this podcast because there is so many other podcasts out there, sports podcasts, and the fact that you chose this one really means something to me, and it holds a place in my heart that you would choose me to listen to. And guess what? Be a part of the following. Let's get this thing going. Listen, if you like this episode, share it with a friend, rate and review, do whatever you got to do to help me grow. This is going to be a guerrilla warfare almost growth that is going to completely depend upon you guys and me consistently putting out content. And that's why I love you guys, because you guys are the greatest fan base a person could have. I love every single one of you. But I'm going to be honest, I don't feel like talking a whole lot about how much I love you guys. I just want to get straight into the episode. So yesterday I told the listeners that I have a couple things that I want to talk about, but the first thing that I have to talk about, the first thing, is that Monday afternoon game of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Washington football team. Now, the Steelers in the Monday afternoon slot took on the Washington football team, and the Steelers came into the game 11-0, undefeated. They're on top of the world at this point. They feel invincible. They felt so invincible last week. Stephon Tuitt didn't play, and he said on Instagram before the game, excited to celebrate the win with you guys before the game even happened. The cockiness that this team had was honestly starting to get to the point where I was like, okay, a loss should be coming here. And they almost lost to the Ravens last week, but they lost to the Washington football team this week. And the Steelers didn't really have anything in the world to be playing for other than the fact that they wanted to remain undefeated. It's not like they're in major trouble in their division. The Browns are good. The Browns are running the ball very well, but are the Browns really going to be a threat to win the AFC North this year? Not with the way the Steelers are playing, but then again, you could say that look at the way the Steelers played tonight and be like, there's no way they might win. They might not win another game. But like I said, they don't have a whole lot to be playing for. But the Washington football team, they do. The Washington football team came into this game 4-7. Yesterday, the New York Giants, the same team in their division, in the NFC East, won in Seattle, an upset to make them 5-7. They need to keep pace with the New York Giants because the New York Giants have the head-to-head over them. They need to have a better record than the New York Giants to get in the playoffs, or else there's no chance. So they needed to win in this game, and they needed it bad. And they got it. They got it. In the NFC East, it's really gotten very interesting in my opinion. After the two big upset wins that were great for the division, they still got another game this weekend where the division could maybe pull off an upset in the Dallas and Baltimore game, although I don't think it's going to happen. I think Baltimore is going to come in and run the ball all over the Cowboys tonight. I am actually recording this on Tuesday, so I don't know why I'm saying tomorrow. I guess it's because I haven't gone to bed, and it is 1:04 a.m. But, the big story coming out of this, but back to what I'm saying, the big story coming out of this Washington football team and Steelers game is, it's going to be, are the Steelers as good as their record? Are they really that good? They're 11-1, but how good are they? And people are going to say, yeah, they've had an easy schedule. Yeah, blah, 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 whatever. You could say whatever you want about the Steelers. They're a talented team. But all respect in the world should be given to the Washington football team after watching this game. I mean, even when the team was down 14-3, they kept doing what they knew would work. They kept doing what Ron Rivera wanted them to. And, they never lost sight of the goal to win the football game, regardless of the score. They said, hey, if we keep doing this, if we keep doing that, we're going to beat this team at some point because they're going to implode on themselves. And that's what the Steelers did. They imploded on themselves. And, my favorite thing from the whole night, I'm a Steelers fan, but my favorite thing from the whole night was Alex Smith just continuing to get to watch the greatest story in football in 2020, something that has inspired all football fans to just continue to push, because no matter what kind of adversity comes your way, you can always get back up and on your feet because that's what Alex Smith did. And, the guy will inevitably win Comeback Player of the Year. And he had one heck of a game. And, the game honestly solidified his bid to win the award. I just can't wait to hear his speech. It's going to be so motivational and so powering. I absolutely love Alex Smith, and I'm glad to see that he is back to being a good quarterback in the NFL and possibly has a chance to host a playoff game. Think about that. That would be insane. That would be insane. But, I got to talk about the other team in that game, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, let's not overreact about Pittsburgh, okay? They're not a bad team. You don't get to 11-1 being a bad football team. The Steelers have had a lot of injuries, okay? And they have been without their starting running back, James Conner, for the last 2 weeks. Now, I don't love Conner. Like I said, I'm a Steelers fan. I don't love Conner. But the one thing that I like about Conner is at least the defenses respect that the Steelers actually have a run game when Conner's in. The defense does not respect Benny Snell because Benny Snell doesn't seem like he's all that good of a runner. In the last 2 weeks, the offense has had to be carried by Ben. And without Conner, there just isn't a running game. There hasn't been one. In the last 2 games, the Steelers have attempted 104 passes to 34 rushing attempts. Ridiculous. That's not balanced football. That's not winning football. That's not how you win a game late in the year. That's not how your team continues to gain steam and gain success as the year progresses. Your running game has to get better every single week or else your team is going to fall behind in the NFL. It's inevitable. As it gets colder, as the weather changes, your running back and your running offense needs to be on point. And the Steelers' running offense is not on point. They use the screen passes and the passes to the flat to their running backs and their receivers as like extended running plays, and the quick slants. It's like extended running plays. But those can only get you so far before a defense decides to stack all those guys in the box and just take all that away and then say, hey, beat us deep. Just do whatever you can't run it because we know you can't run. So the only way you can beat us is beat us deep. It's insane, but there's been so many drops by the Steelers receivers lately. They had 7 in the last game. I think they had 6 in the Baltimore game. I think it's like 13 or 14. I think it is it's either 12 or 13 drops. I don't know specifically. I just know that in the game versus the Washington football team, the Steelers wide receivers had 7 drops. 7. Most by any team this year. They had 7. Ridiculous. But I tell you what, as the season has gone on, there was one guy on the Steelers team that I think continues to. He deserves more playing time. Every single week he proves that he is a playmaker, he is a baller, and that is James Washington. Last week versus Baltimore, he came up big with a catch to seal the victory. This week he had a 50-yard touchdown on a screen pass. Get the man on the field more often because he is a playmaker. Deontay Johnson drops the ball too much, but he is electric. Juju's great. Chase Claypool's great. Oh, great. You know what I'm saying. But the receiving core in the Pittsburgh is great. They're young. But James Washington needs more playing time. He's a playmaker. Get him the ball more. And, everybody that follows me kind of knows I'm a Steelers fan. I kind of make it open. But I'm fair about my judgment with teams. Like, I don't just favor the Steelers over everybody. No, I know the Steelers aren't the best team in the league. And I know that the chances of them winning Super Bowl this year, personally, in my opinion, aren't as high as I would like them to be, even though they're 11-1. But someone asked me if this game changes how I feel about Pittsburgh, and honestly, my answer is no. I think the Steelers needed to lose a game. I think it's going to be better for them in the long run that they lost this game now before they get into the meat of their final 4 games, because it's not a cakewalk. It's not a cakewalk. And so, the Steelers were flying high, 11-0, and they needed a crash. And the loss brings them back down to earth. And, like I said, the meat of their schedule's coming up. They got a couple tough games. Next week they host Buffalo. Well, they don't host Buffalo. Buffalo hosts them on Sunday Night Football in a game that I am very, very, very excited to watch, because after watching the Washington football team and Pittsburgh play, and then watching Buffalo play San Francisco, wow, it's going to be a fun game next Sunday night. I am extremely excited about it because the Bills are not going to be an easy team because that offense is rolling. But my question is, if you apply pressure to Josh Allen, how good is he going to be? And we are going to find out next week. I'm excited about it. I will be previewing that game on my Friday episode, which I am excited for.